Hey Tiger fans, it's Mark Fitzpatrick, Tiger Club of Kansas City. We're at the Westport Flea Market. It is Tuesday, January 31st. Very special guest today, Jeff Passan, senior baseball writer for ESPN, who resides in the Kansas City area. Jeff, thanks for coming out. I think we're going to listen to you for a lot longer today. You have a lot to say in a very interesting crowd.
I always have a lot to say, Mark. And a very engaged crowd, by the way. I appreciate all the questions. It's a smart group of sports fans.
I want to talk about the Royals for a bit, but spring training, you'll be heading down to Florida or Arizona, or
Both.
in a couple of weeks. Wide open question: what storylines you looking to as spring training begins?
I think there are a few. I think the rules changes in Major League Baseball this year are going to be a prevailing story throughout the season. The fact that the game that's not on a clock is going to have an actual clock in the game with the pitch timer this year is going to have just a stupendous effect on baseball. I think the fact that you're going to see 2.5 hour games regularly. You're going to see games under 2 hours this year. I would almost guarantee that. It's just a different type of baseball that you're going to see played. I'm looking forward to the World Baseball Classic. I don't know how many fans out there know, but it's essentially the Olympics for baseball. It's essentially the World Cup for baseball, and I'm going to be down in Miami, Florida, where the semifinals and finals are, but also where the first round is, and getting to see this Dominican Republic team that is so unbelievably loaded with talent get to play down there against Venezuela and Puerto Rico. It's going to be like winter baseball in the atmosphere there comes to the United States, and it's going to be an absolute sight. And then Shohei Ohtani, back-to-back unprecedented years, and he's going to be a free agent after this year. And so you're going to have 29 other teams in baseball aside from the Angels that are looking at him and saying, what can we do to convince this incredibly talented player, this elite right-handed pitcher, and this elite left-handed power hitter to come play for us?
The Astros won the World Series last year. They have a little bit of a mini dynasty going on, but as we know, we get October. If you make the playoffs, with the Phillies last year, anybody have a chance? Who's your favorite? Got the Astros, the Mets have Verlander, and our buddy, true son, Max Scherzer.
Yep.
Who do you like going into this season?
The Mets have a chance to be really good this year. The Astros lost Justin Verlander to the Mets, so the fact that the Mets are replacing Jacob deGrom with another elite starting pitcher, and that they have as deep of a team as they do, I think makes them the betting favorites right now. I'm not looking at the Astros as being pushovers, though. They brought Jose Abreu in. They have so much starting pitching depth. They can just replace Verlander with Hunter Brown, who's like a Justin Verlander clone in terms of stuff, and just roll right along with it. The San Diego Padres signing Xander Bogaerts and getting Fernando Tatis Jr. back. The question with them is going to be depth, and can the stars that they have overcome that? The American League East, I can't discount the Yankees to go out and bring Aaron Judge back. They signed Carlos Rodon to bolster their rotation, but they're in a division that has a Toronto team that went out and made moves this offseason, that has a Baltimore team that's ascended, that has a Rays team that every year it seems is in the mix, and this year went out and were more aggressive with their spending. There are a lot of good baseball teams, and not sure any of them reside in the American League Central necessarily. Not sure that the Cardinals are going to be in the mix among the best teams in baseball, but it's going to be a fun year.
Let's talk about the Royals. They had some significant changes in the offseason. New manager Matt Quatraro, Sweeney from the Indians comes over as pitching coach. Your thoughts about their hires?
Matt Quatraro might be the most universally liked person that I've ever met, just in terms of
next to yourself.
Far from it. In baseball, if you talk with somebody about him, someone who's with the Cleveland organization, someone with the Tampa Bay organization, they just speak so highly of not who he is as a baseball person, but who he is as a human being. And that's the kind of thing that I think you need when you have an organization that's trying to transition from these doldrums that they've been in for so long into a winning ball club. But a manager isn't going to do it by himself. A pitching coach isn't going to do it by himself. If the Royals want to succeed, they need a complete overhaul of their organizational philosophy, because what they've been doing, frankly, just hasn't worked anymore. And they need to ask themselves really hard questions about the processes, about the people who are there, about the players that they've got, and wonder, is this a crop that's going to grow, or do you just need to burn the fields? And at this point, I think that's unanswered, but I think 2023 is going to go a really long way toward answering that.
I want to ask you one more question. You wrote a story, I think it was last year, about Drew Robinson, player who tried to commit suicide and did not, and unfortunately did not succeed. It was an award-winning piece. Tell us about Drew's story since then.
Drew's awesome. I mean, it's one of those stories where if you're a reporter, you feel privileged to be able to tell it. Not just because it's an incredible tale, this harrowing 20 hours after he shot himself in the head and lived and realized that he wanted to continue living and called 911 and essentially saved his life, but what he became afterward, which is one of the foremost mental health advocates in the sports world, somebody who's a sought-after speaker, somebody who still, even now, struggles with his mental health, because we all can struggle with our mental health at times, but recognizes that he has a great group of people surrounding him who love him, who support him, and who will be there for him. And I think it's the kind of story, really, that not just in sports, but everyone should hear, because sometimes we get so caught up in our lives and in the fortune or misfortune that comes from them that we fail to remember that there's an army of people there for us. And I think Drew learned that, and he's going out there and telling people, hey, it's okay not to be okay. But before it gets to the point where he got to, talking with someone, whether it's a professional, whether it's a family member, a friend, whoever it may be, is something that can save lives, and that's what he's doing on a daily basis.
All right, folks, if you have not read this piece, please Google it. It is one of the most gripping, moving, best pieces of journalism I've ever read. So, and this guy is also the author of The Arm, which is a New York Times bestseller, which you also should read. So he's the best, and he's from Kansas City. He lives in Kansas City. Jeff, thank you. Really great to have you.
Always appreciate it.
Hey, next week we'll have former Mizzou basketball player and current broadcaster Kevin Puryear. We'll talk about the success Tiger basketball has been having in recent weeks. Hopefully we'll have 2 more wins to talk about. Hey, for more information on membership and events, check us out at kctigerclub.com.